Hey everyone, I wanted to record this video today to introduce you all to Paige. Paige is our Canadian distributor sales agent. She is amazing. Oh my gosh. She contacted me months ago and I thought, who is this girl or lady? What does she want? She wanted to create some music for the egg, and I was actually putting out to the universe, I need some more music for the egg, some music that's specifically designed for the egg. And so we had a beautiful conversation. I hired her immediately because she just had the right energy, the right vibration, the right feeling that the egg needed. And then I put out to the universe, I needed a Canadian distributor because I can't do all these trips. I can't travel to deliver eggs all over, God's green earth, right? So we had somebody volunteer to be a distributor in Australia, and I said, okay, we need England, we need Canada, we need everywhere. And so at that moment, I think I threw it out to Paige in an email, and she's like, pick me. And I was like, what? But you're a musician. And she's like, but I can do this. So I'm gonna kind of let her tell her side of the story. But then she came to Colorado from Canada, and we just hit it off. It was like we were sisters from another mother. She's amazing. So I'm gonna let her kind of give you her rendition of how she saw that story starting.
That's so funny. Just to the middle of that, actually, the way that it worked with the importing part of it, I woke up that morning to see one of your famous voicemail messages. So Gail and I exchanged these voicemail texts, which is always fun. And it basically said, "Oh, I'm looking for an importer in Canada. I'm not sure if you know anybody." And she was kind of teasing with the idea that, "Oh, maybe you do." And I had just, I'm not even kidding, I had woken up from a dream where you were in Canada with me, showing me how it was going to work in Canada installing. And I woke from the dream, saw the voicemail, and I was like, okay, it's me. Like, if she'll have me, it's me. So right away, I just knew it was right. And since I've met Gail, I'm sure some of the other egg owners have experienced this, whether it's, seeing the Gaia interview first, which was the case for me. Since I've interacted with you, Gail, it's just been like all these doors opening, all this really great energy, synchronicities, eggs popping up everywhere, the number 3 popping up everywhere. And it's just continuously validating this new path for me because you're right, I am a musician. I transitioned more into composing for film and television, but this is where I'm supposed to be now, and I'm really grateful for it.
I think it's so exciting. I remember when I worked with David Stanley on the Elvis movie. As soon as I started working with him, we were having Elvis sightings everywhere. Like you'd hear a song on the radio, or we'd walk into this random restaurant and there's like an Elvis cutout. I'm like, seriously? And so yes, I hear people say they have egg sightings now. As soon as they start to get involved with the egg, or they do sessions, or they get really wrapped up in it, they have egg sightings everywhere.
Yeah, I remember after we first talked the first time, which I'll circle back to that. I put on some new Amazon show I was checking out, and literally the episode was this man in a different dimension picking up an egg on a scavenger hunt and saying, "Success, success! I found the golden egg." And I was like, "What? Really? Okay,
You're
okay."
like, me too.
Here. So, yeah, it was massive amount of energy as soon as I tapped into all of this. But yeah, I did find you through Gaia. But to back up the story a little bit, and I've told some of the Canadian owners this story because I love telling it. I basically one day in April found this journal that I had kept when I went to India in 2011. While I was there, I saw one of the top astrologers, and he went year by year through the years of my life as a baby and a child, and then did my future astrological chart as well. And if you know anything about the Indian culture, they choose their CEOs based on their charts. Like it's very ingrained in the way they make decisions. So I found this journal and I realized I had all these future readings that I'd never checked up on. So I looked at 2020 and it said, you will be like a doctor with an alternative technology therapy with your music. And I said, what? I'm so far away from what that is at that moment. Later that afternoon, I saw your Gaia interview and I was like, oh, that's what it is. It's that. I have to do this. And then right away contacted you, told you, of course, that I was also a composer. And that's where it all started.
Well, it was amazing because you picked up my vision of the music before I even really communicated it to you. It was like we were going back and forth. And I remember I had a friend, he said he hated when his daughter and his wife got together because they were like, uh-huh, and oh yeah, right, exactly. He's like, I had no idea what they were talking about. And that's how it felt with you. It's like, oh, we need to do it. You're like, exactly. And I'm like, and then we need some, oh, exactly. And it was so just, oh, it was just amazing, the synergy that we had.
Yeah.
So because I knew we needed nature sounds and you were like, oh, exactly. I'm already planning on this and I'm already planning on that. And it was so just relieving that you got the vision. And I cannot wait to put some of that music in the egg.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe either that what you were asking for, which our first project has cello and piano, that's kind of been my specialty the last 3 years because I've done a lot of historical documentaries where, let's say they're based in the early 1900s. I'll do like, oh, fiddle and cello music to have that kind of old world quality. So I had a lot of experience working with those instruments, and I'm a piano player, and it was like you were asking for the essence of me, and that's what you were looking for, and I don't know, it just worked out so
Yeah,
well.
when you said that's my wheelhouse, I'm like, okay, that's just weird, like how this is all coming together, which I know that my tagline on my signature, it says, let it flow, but I'm a complete control freak. And I always expect the corporate struggle, the corporate, oh, we got to write a press release. I've got to interview people. And I swear to God, the egg just brings the right people right to me. And
And the I sent you an Aquarian to work with your Scorpio.
right, I'm crazy Scorpio, right?
Yeah, and I'm so let it flow. And you just goes everywhere. Yeah. Almost too much. Gotta rein it in. So maybe you're helping me rein it in too. So
Right, and you're helping me flow more because I feel like I'm very rigid, very, it's like, okay, it's got to be this way. But then like my boyfriend says, you wouldn't be where you are if this wasn't the personality that you had.
yeah,
And we wouldn't have what now we're going to be installing egg number 29 and 30 or something like that next week.
yeah,
And never thought this would happen. I
yeah.
never thought this would take off like it has. I'm so excited to introduce this to the Canadians, because I feel like if it weren't for you, they wouldn't have access to the egg. And what a shame. If it wasn't for Joe in Australia, the Australians wouldn't have access to an egg because I can't be everywhere.
And it's incredible to bring it here, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. I get so teary-eyed when I think of all the people that the egg is going to help. It's already helping. I have bookings in my Schedulicity app over a year in advance of people from far away. I live in Fort Erie, Ontario. For those of you, that's sort of like Niagara Falls. I'm sure most people have heard of the falls in Canada and US. And yeah, bookings over a year in advance. People saying, "I love what you're doing. Thank you for bringing it here. We couldn't get to the U.S., especially now. A lot of people don't want to travel. Like it's huge. And through your site, and now starting through my site, I'm getting like every day people saying, "Where can I buy an egg? Where can I do a session?" So it's only a matter of time before it's all across Canada, which is
Yeah,
so
no, I mean, the customs broker that we were working with together, he even said, he goes, Canada is so open to this and it's going to be so huge in Canada. And I just can't even imagine like this, something that I created, and it's not my creation per se. It's something that came through me to manifest onto the earth plane. And it just feels funny when you see things that says, Gail Lynn inventor. I'm like, who's Gail Lynn? Like, what is a Gail Lynn? What is an inventor? and it's super surreal. And every day that people tell me these stories, I'm like, really? That happened? Or really? And the, the sales cycle, I have a lady that just came back. She's in Colorado, but way on the West Coast. And she has been communicating with me for 2 years, and now she's ready.
Right.
And I forget about these people after a while. They're like, I'll get back to you. And I'm like, yeah, sure, they will. And, 2 years later, one lady was 7 years that we had been talking.
Yep.
And she was talking to me before an egg even came to being. It was before the egg, it was the other light box.
Right.
And then as soon as the egg came out, she's like, that's it. That's why I've been talking to you for 7 years. So it's a long sales cycle sometimes. And sometimes it's like people just call up, I don't need to try it. I just want it. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And people ask me, did you get the chance to try it? Which I did. I came to Colorado. But to your point, I put my deposit down before all of that. I just knew. I felt it so strongly all over my body. And to your point as well about, channeling and being the vessel, it's the same for songwriting. Like I don't personally take credit for what comes out of me. I know it's channeling the ether, what's out there, and just, being the one to be able to participate in its activation, I guess.
Yeah, and it's coming to fruition. It's like you bring it to life, I
Yeah,
think, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I have some of my egg owners, I'd say even half of them have never even tried it. They just said, I saw it, I knew it needed to be on the land, I knew it needed to help, the planet, I knew it needed to help the people. People say things like, this got into my heart and my soul. And I've even tried to talk people out of doing it. I
Yeah.
was like, no, 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 you got a lot going on in your life. You might be moving, this could be difficult to move. My guys can come and move it for you, but, and they're like, I'm sorry, Gail, it's already in my cells. It's already in my soul. I'm getting it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not a real good salesperson.
No, I think it speaks to the importance of finding the right place for the egg that we do take into consideration. As you're working with the Americans and I'm working with Canadians, we do have sort of an obligation to the egg to make sure it's right for that person. And yeah, it's an honor to be able to sort of have that role.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have to find the right family members. I mean, we're doing all the 3D precautions with attorneys and everything, but we have to find the right owners, that it's a family. I never want to look at these contracts again. I just want people to be, the right family members that we're picking. We separate them in their location so they can all be successful. So I think we're doing all the right things to create this divine feminine matriarchal cooperative business model for people to be successful with.
Yeah. Well, it was really beautiful being able to go down to Denver or Westminster specifically and to come meet you in person. And I mean, I know we keep saying this, but it was just like, oh, hey, sister.
Yeah.
Girl. It's just like right away. But my egg experience was so, it just cemented everything that I was looking for and then some.
Yeah.
So if I can talk a little bit about the sessions that I had. Yeah, okay. So the first session was the autonomic nervous system reset, which is, as I'm learning, pretty standard protocol for most people's first session. You really want to reboot that system. And it was gorgeous. We listened to this award-winning piano player, and it was this gorgeous music. And I just came out, and Ash at the center was like, "Oh, your eyes are so bright," and they were. I think the egg gives this like post glow that is just so lovely. Other than everything that you're feeling, you actually look different when you come out of the egg. And it was just gorgeous. I felt amazing the whole day. And then I had another session booked for the next afternoon. The second session, I wanted to work on more of the sacral chakra. And so you put me in with the sacred drumming and the orange and yellow light. Oh my God. It was so crazy. When I came out, I was like, oh my God, Gail. We were crying. We were laughing. It was such a joyous experience. So in the egg, I'm lying there, the drumming music starts, there's beautiful animal sounds and stuff going on in the music. Within 60 seconds, I start crying because something right away is just vibrating so strongly. I had physical reactions where my arms actually shot out of the chair. My abdomen shot off of the chair and was quaking, like as if I was holding some crazy yoga pose. It was just like literally all my abs shaking. And I was purging. I must have had, some trauma, some past stuff, maybe some health stuff going on, um, preconceived notions, like just all this stuff that I didn't need to hold on to in my core, which is, where you stand in your power. And I felt so powerful. I felt like Xena warrior princess when I came out. It was just so incredibly beautiful. And when I got out, the practitioner was like, "Oh my God, you have sea legs." And they were right. I literally, couldn't walk straight because I was vibrating so high and just like not in this world in that moment. And then settled into it. And we had a good cry and a good laugh. And it was just incredible. And we hung out after to have some chocolate, help me ground, as most shamans, you've experienced recommending you have some chocolate to help you ground after. And, we hung out and we had plans to do a little bit of like plant work and stuff. But I think you could tell that I was just on cloud nine and just like, I couldn't believe what I had experienced, because it just hit me on so many levels and it changed me and it changed. I don't want to cry.
I know I'm trying not to. I'm holding back tears now. Yeah.
Day.
Well,
And
I knew you were still processing when you came out. We came to my house to sit in my garden, and then that's all we really did is sit in the garden. And when you have your arms fly out like that, I feel like energy blocks are clearing. Things are clearing. Let me go back and say that you did 2 sessions because you came such a long way. But if you're local, I like people to just do 1 session a week. Because you let that integrate and then you're a different person and then you go in and do another one and get to the next level and then let it integrate and get to the next level. But when people travel a long way, we will allow a healthy person to do 2 days in a row so they feel like, it was worth their travel. And so, yeah, so I feel like the only, when you go into the egg, I feel like you're changed forever. I feel like you never go back to that person that you were. And so some people will say, I want to do that same session again. And they have a different experience because they are different. And when you talk about the Xena warrior, I mean, I feel so invincible sometimes where it's like, no one can touch me. I mean, I know that I am protected by the universe, the eggs, whatever, but you feel so like you have this, bow and arrow and, it's great.
literally like posturing, like I felt like I could stand like that all day in warrior pose.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. That's so amazing. I know. And then I missed you when you left because it was just so nice to get to know you. And it was just so short. And then you left. And then you had the remote session. Do you want to talk about that you had just the other day, right?
So we're Wednesday now. I had it on Monday. And I just really needed a full ground, kind of reconnecting with myself. All of this beautiful change has happened in the last 2 months. I mean, in Canada alone, we've already sold 3 locations in the West Coast in the month of November alone. So, like, the response has been incredible. So, with that came, all the responsibility, all of the know-how of like trying to keep up with how fast this response has been for me. So I feel like maybe like come December, I started to get a little away from myself and just the amazement of everything that's been happening is kind of, I needed some grounding. So Gail put me in with purple and turquoise light with a track called Secret Garden, which is funny. It was so weird because when you said, oh, it was Secret Garden, I was thinking about my grandma Jean in the session and I felt she was there. And when I was a little girl, my sister, my dad, and I were in a production of community theater of The Secret Garden. And Grandma Jean came to see it she lived in Sarnia, so it's like a 3-hour drive. And I was thinking about that day. And then you told me it was The Secret Garden. I thought, oh my God.
There are no accidents when you do the egg or around the egg. It's so cool.
Such a lovely little touch. But the session, I just went into a quiet room with the window open so I could look out, and I could feel right away, sort of from the root and the sacral chakras, this warming, and I felt it continue all the way up to my body, even up to the crown. And then I felt this unison. I felt just this, almost as if there was like a strong pull inside of my body, like connecting every chakra, like energetically. They were all unified. I felt the energy move through my arms as well. And I've had an issue with this shoulder for 2 months. And the night of the session was the first night I could sleep on my right side. And I don't have that pain. I'm careful not to overexert it, let it continue to heal, but I don't have the pain at all.
And that's what people don't understand. I mean, that was just your picture in the egg. And so, I mean, there is no time or space. Everything is energy. So I think it's so beautiful. I don't think there's any substitute for being in the egg, but the remote sessions in a pinch are amazing.
Yeah, and I could feel, my line to you was, I feel so loved and I feel so loving.
Yeah.
So it puts you in this place where you have a generosity of spirit, you have a connection to your spirit body. I was explaining to you that I feel the size of my spirit, not the size of my body, which is a really great feeling to sort of get out of the body for a little bit and be aware of your presence and your power.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a really a gift.
I love it. I love it. Well, I just wanted to introduce everybody to you, and I thought this was a good opportunity to do that. And thank you so much for your time and for just being who you are. Anything else you want to share? You want to share your website and how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can go to harmoniceggcanada.com, or you can email me at paige@harmoniceggcanada.com. And we've got a Facebook, we've got an Instagram, so we can connect wherever you like social media.
Cool. Yeah. And you can also find Paige on harmonicegg.com's website with the little Canadian flag on the top.
Welcome
All right. Well,
Harmonic Egg.
I love you so much. I'll see you soon.